Hey y'all, Stretchmore back here again. I want to remind you all to be intentional. Now you're probably wondering, intentional, what does that mean, intent? That's one of those words that you can find within intentional, right? You can't really find another word within the word intentional. I believe so, if you look at the word properly, right? But to be intentional means to be purposeful. It means to have some sort of meaning, right? Some sort of reasoning. There needs to be a why behind you did something, right? There needs to be some type of reason or explanation. Somebody should be able to ask you, hey, why did you do that? And you should be able to explain exactly why. That's what it means to be intentional. And I want to remind you all about intent and being intentional because it's extremely important. I feel like nowadays in today's time in society, being intentional is one of the most valuable things you can ever do for yourself. And the reason why is because the more intentional that you are, the more successful that you can be. One, simple. But then two, you're just going to be able to manage yourself a lot more properly, and you're going to be able to manage things like time a lot better, right? One thing that I realized, even through doing these YouTube videos recently, is that I've tried to be a lot more intentional about how long I'm making a video. I'm trying to be a lot more intentional about how much I'm saying, how much I'm not saying, right? And it's because I want to get things done in the right way. I want to get things done in the most efficient and effective way for even you all and myself, right? But you see that I had a reasoning for that. Right? I had a reasoning for the why that I proposed, or I had a reasoning for the what that I proposed, really. So what I want to encourage you all is throughout your daily task, throughout every single thing you do, be intentional with it, right? Come to some sort of understanding as to why you did what you did. Don't just do it just to do it. Don't just do it because it's mundane. Don't just do it because, oh, I have to do it, I'm a human being. But actually think about what you're doing. Reflect about what you're doing, right? One thing that I do is journal. And whenever I journal, it allows me to understand more about my intentions. It allows me to understand more about the why that I am, the what that I am, the who that I am. It allows me to really engage with why I do what I do. And every single day that I live, and every single day that I will live Lord's will, it's something that I try to really gauge on is, why did I do that? Or why was I intentional about this or that? And I really do want to say, all in all, just think about that. Throughout your day, throughout every single thing that you do, throughout the way that you talk, throughout the way that you carry yourself, be intentional with it. But be intentional in a proper way. Don't just be intentional in a negative way, right? If you're doing something with intent, you want to make sure that you're actually doing it for a positive reason, right? And for some sort of benefit. If you're going to do something intentionally to be negative, in other words, malicious, there's no true gain in that. It's like revenge. The reality of revenge is that there's no gain from it. And that's something that I've had to come to terms with myself. There have been certain moments where I've wanted to really act out of character and do something that's not very Christian-like, or just not very much like of myself, being Trenton Moore. And then I have to realize, well, that's not worth it. So I have to be very intentional about the way that I carry myself from then on out until God deals with whatever is being dealt with, right? And that's just me from a religious standpoint. And, some people say karma. I believe in that technically, right? And so you don't even have to worry about that, right? So certain things you don't have to even be intentional about, right? But in other words, you're also still ultimately being intentional by not deciding to do what you could do whenever you really could do it. So Stretchmore back here again. I just want to let you all know, be intentional, really, really tap in and key in with why you do what you do and come to an understanding of what that means. Because there is true benefit in it. It's guaranteed to benefit you in some type of way. And plus, you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste your energy. And you don't want to waste other people's time and energy, because whatever you do affects other people besides yourself too, right? So Stretchmore back here again. I'll see you all later. Peace.